Testing. What's going on, everybody? What is happening to everybody? Back again, yet again. I was thinking. Took a long break again. I need to get that out. I'm back though. Hope y'all enjoyed the content, even just a little bit. Thanks for appreciate everybody that's been clicking on my very, very hard work thumbnails and enjoying my little bit of commentary. Let's see here. How do I? All right. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? I'm HT. High thinking. Oh, I got a mess over here now, don't I? Hold on. Apologize. Yeah. Welcome back to the Higher Thinking live stream show. Let me just get this. Like, when you don't use, if y'all ever want to get involved with live streaming and stuff like that, which you should. It's pretty fun. Bruh. You had better get in tune. You had better keep this stuff. How do I word this? It's like if you don't use OBS for too long, it kind of things just don't really seem to function correctly. So I had to spend a lot of time recalibrating things, not recalibrating, but getting stuff to work again. It's like it got cold, it got rusty, so I had to get the juices flowing again. Y'all know the routine. Okay. All right. On. All right. Okay, I'm getting one. There we go, both. What's up, everybody? This is gonna be a chill stream today. Now normally I would be recording this stuff, and then I would like use this footage to start my to make content off of, just to make videos off of and stuff like that. Not this time. Well, at least I don't think so. At least it's gonna be doing a chill stream for the most part. I got some brands. Call-ins. That's right, everybody. Not right now, not just yet, but yeah, I got a number. I got a call-in number. So if anybody wants to come through and talk some jab with your boy, I'm completely available for that. We talk whatever you want to talk about your disagreements with my previous videos, talk about something new, talk about your day. It don't matter that much. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying is I got a new number, and I definitely plan on using it. Regarding updates with me, because I've definitely been gone for a while. Definitely, man, where to start? First of all, do like seriously. Hold on, let me get this. I'm gonna need this a little bit later. Please, even if you think you like got it all together and stuff like that, I thought I was convinced I had it all together. No, seek therapy, man. Even if you feel like you're completely A-okay, you know what I'm saying? Just I urge everybody to have a conversation with a therapist, because you don't like as I said, I thought I had it all together. I thought I was that dude. I thought I was cool as a cucumber. Trying to find out, I learned a whole lot from my therapist. You know what I'm saying? And I very much so appreciate I appreciate my time with them. And it was a journey. It was a much needed, a long overdue journey, like for real. Like I said, it's like you go through our life and you just look at you feel like you learn from other people, you learn from other people's mistakes, and you, for the most part, live a pretty okay life. You don't go to prison, you don't get any trouble. You keep a job. You have like a decent relationship and stuff like that. You like the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? But trying to find out there's um there's a lot for you to hold on a second. Hold on. What is this? Let me see if this thing works real quick. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you go through our life, think you cool. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, then you have like one breakthrough conversation with a professional. You know what I'm saying? Not your moms or your significant other or your homeboy or your siblings. No, you have a conversation with a professional, and they teach you a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? So I could not recommend enough that everybody watching this program right now that yeah, find you like yeah, I like to think that a lot of jobs like provide that type of service, which via your insurance or maybe there's just a program with your job directly. You know what I'm saying? In my case, I was fortunate to to use a program that was um, directly. How do I put this? My words escape me right now. I was fortunate to use a program given to my company. You know what I'm saying? Every employee of the company I work for have access to this service that uh, essentially gives everybody asking free um, therapy sessions. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I took it. I finally took advantage. It was a long time coming. I finally took advantage of it, and yeah, it was good. It was useful. I do recall my first ever this is my first time trying or uh attempting speaking with a therapist. Like I did go through like a really traumatic experience say 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and I tried going then, but it was just bad. I don't know how to put it. The timing just kind of just wasn't there for me. It was a time where my job was the most busiest, and I just went to. It was one of the things where I was always tired. I'm ready, go home and just go straight to bed. You know what I'm saying? And it was like like practically every day. But like this time, I didn't want to make any excuses. I committed to it, and like I said, I feel like I was genuinely rewarded for my time invested into these conversations with a professional. You know what I mean? And like it got me, like I said, it got me thinking a whole lot about the way I thought. Because I kind of felt like prior to starting this podcast, this live stream stuff or this show, whatever, I kind of felt like empathy was like the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? And or a lot of social concepts that I had understood or I observed and placed the concepts I put together in my head. I kind of figured that was like the end all be all. Like I thought literally figured it out. But once I had a conversation with my therapist, they kind of let me know like, hey, this was just the door. These things that I've understood that I kind of um, observed from my many conversations with people and stuff like that, and the things I've learned from those people. They let me know like, hey, you're on the right track, but again, this is just the door. Once you open the door, it's a whole new world almost. So, like I said, I could not, man, it was it got to the point where I was actually looking forward to every session with the therapist. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I definitely learned plenty to, take it to the next level. You feel me? Um, Other than that, man, oh boy, like basically, I've never been away for a while, and um, please don't think it's just me being completely unproductive whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like there's definitely a lot of stuff going on in my life that needed some precedence over a side hustle or a hobby. You know what I'm saying? That like as such as this. Definitely been going through some family drama, just like stuff like that. that literally took my full undivided attention. It's still not over. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of taking a break from that, and I'm definitely got to get back to it. But at the same time, I do know this is something extremely important to me. My hair grew a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I still ain't really decided what exactly what I'm gonna be doing with this here. Hold on a second. Viewers. Oh, we got a. Is this a chat bot? Hold on a second. Yeah, that's a bot. So like I said, um, like I said, my hair. You know what? My damn hair not important whatsoever. I don't know what I'm doing with my hair. That's not important though. But definitely been taking the game break. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of games came out. I think this is like the most video games. This is like the most amount of games I played in a extremely long time. I think I'm looking at back and maybe the original Xbox days where I was like I had games lined up. You know what I'm saying? Like I really only can really think of Dreamcast going from like Sonic Adventures to like Fantasy Star to Hydro like all these Dreamcast games. I had to play like all of them, as many of them as I can get my hands on. But like, bro, like man, Rocker was Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Then that went from that to Armored Core. Went from that to Starfield. You know what I'm saying? And I still got to play the Cyberpunk. As you see, I got like a little my poster right there. I don't know if anybody can recognize that per se, but like that's one of the first images that's one of the first images you see stepping outside of your apartment in Cyberpunk 2077. So that's like literally like I want to say that's like my favorite game right now. You know what I'm saying? And I put some money on it. Yeah, you feel me? But so like I said, like I still gotta play the Phantom Liberty DLC. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, and I just decided, but at the same time, I had to put my foot down and say, you know what, this is exactly what I went over with my therapist, and to say that, hey man, it's time to do some business. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a big problem with procrastination. You know what I mean? And she helped me She walked me down into how to essentially cure my procrastination. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know how to conquer something like procrastination and putting, just that generally putting things off in favor of doing something that you'd rather do. You know what I mean? And it has a lot to do with just allocating your time correctly and stuff like that. I mean, it was really bad with me. You know what I mean? It went from just knowing I need to do something like clean the house or put like a freaking hold on right this way, put like a shelving a box together or whatever, like put some thing together or whatever, you know what I mean, to putting doing my editing for my YouTube channel and stuff like that. I like this stuff I needed to do. I mean, reading my book also, my Powernomics book from Dr. Claude Anderson. There's like a lot of stuff I need to do, but like it's like I would rather do something that I just felt like doing. Like I was just going off the vibes, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of led me, like I said, my therapist helped me like really bunker down as far as like understand that, yeah, this is not something that I need to be. I mean, this is something I need to be like not just identifying as the problem, but I need to come up with some. I need to not just come with a solution either, but I found out a plan to get to that solution. And that's the part I never really sat down and, realized. So like, part of those vibes was being on social media too damn much. You know what I'm saying? Like I would literally just be scrolling, you know what I mean? And like, and after I'm done scrolling, I'll feel bad about it. So I essentially fixed that scrolling problem. And, by way of putting time limits and stuff up. Just seeing a time limit up there, like just to say, hey, this is how much time you spend on this doing this scrolling YouTube and all this other stuff. I've been getting a lot of better with the video games, but video games used to be literally my life. You know what I'm saying? Like not like this past, like I said, this past like line of game. I hate to say it, like it's just I just had to play these games. You know what I'm saying? But before this time, I would only be playing 1 or 2 games tops, and then like that, and then like that. But that is just like it would just be those type of games where like an MMO, you know what I mean? Like we always have something to do in an MMO. You always got something to do in like a competitive game. I used to play competitive games super serious. And I put all that stuff aside, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, with competitive games, like I'm a super competitive person, but I had to realize that, you know what? The only reason I'm competitive is for an end. And the end is usually money or, you know, winning tournaments and stuff like that, right? But again, I'm a grown ass dude, you know what I mean? I'm a grown man. And it's in my best interest to like, you know what I mean, work. I mean, I work for a living. So like whatever money I feel like I can win in a tournament, I can if I just I can get that money over the course of a year. You know what I'm saying? By just going to work. You know what I'm saying? And like I might let's say I'm the greatest Street Fighter 6 player of all time. Or is it 5? We on 6 now. I can win a tournament and get like $20,000 or something like that, and that's great. But I make much more money than that in a year in my job, right? And let's say I win 2 tournaments. Okay, that might be $40,000. But who's to say I'm gonna win all these tournaments like that? You know what I mean? And like fighting games and like competitive games in general, in order to compete with the best, you have to train like the best. So a lot of you guys out there playing 2K and Madden in hopes of being the best, right? I mean, man, if you're not playing like the best, if you're not practicing, if you're not putting the time in like the best is, you're gonna be left behind. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, everybody has that dream of stardom. Everybody has that dream of being the best. Fortunately, you gotta work within reality. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, for the vast majority of us, we're just gonna be average ass people. And that's why I made peace with. You know what I'm saying? But we'll talk a little bit more about me a little bit later. We already damn it, 20 minutes into the stream. I've just been talking about myself. We're gonna be talking about some really serious stuff today, right? First, I want to talk about a little bit about this Brandon Johnson situation in Chicago. Maybe a lot of y'all haven't been up to date about Brandon Johnson, who he is, and why us Chicagoans are talking about him. Just a very, very brief history of who he is. Brandon Johnson is current mayor of Chicago. He took the mantle right after Lori Lightfoot, another predominantly leftist Democratic mayor, Lori Lightfoot. Brandon Johnson ran as a Democrat. He showed signs of being super liberal or adjacent leftist, something along those lines. And he's been doing quite a bit. He's been making quite a name for himself. Depending on who you talk to, depending on who you ask, could be could be some good in it, or it could be some infamy that he's gaining. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you this thing: big majority of Chicago is having a big issue with the decision he's been making with our tax dollars. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's get into this first video coming straight from us by way of was it ABC? Who is this? Yeah, ABC 7. Which button do I press? We're gonna do this. So let's see what they're talking about. Wrong button. Not gonna rust off.
Protesters have staged loud demonstrations like this one for nearly a week now at a site the city says could soon house nearly 2,000 migrant families. Speaking in multiple languages, Mandarin, Spanish, and English, people of Chicago's Brighton Park neighborhood both revolt.
Look at this. This is a very, very, very diverse audience here of attendees of what's happening right now, right? This migrant situation happening in Chicago. like I said, like a white guy here. This may be an Asian lady or Latino. The husband looks Latino, so they all must be Latino here, which says a lot because these Salvadorians are kind of, they're in that family. You know what I'm saying? So even these people are like, hey, this is a little bit this is a situation that we need to be a part of. So that's why they're an attendee here. We got a brother over here, a black guy over here. All types of nationalities in attendance right here. So it's not just one group of people. It's not just white people being like racist or anything like that, right? Or just they want to seal the borders like Donald Trump or whatever like that. It's not just black people being stingy of the resources and stuff like that. Like some narratives have been going around. It's very, very diverse. You know what I mean? Old, some young, like you name it.
Voted against and boisterously accepted the city's plan to place a massive winterized base camp for migrants in the Southwest Side community.
A base camp.
I want them to have buildings, but I don't want it to be here.
I hope that the neighborhood can find in their heart what I witnessed as a child, which is a welcoming spirit.
Our federal government recently settled 29,000 Ukrainians who were seen in their full humanity, and that is all that I want for all of our refugees, all of our neighbors.
No one told us about the construction is happening.
Bulldozing and water and
quite a diverse feedback there. Man was talking about, hey, show us some love, like I'm sorry. Show the Salvadorians some love like they showed me and my family some love. And some other people who's been, somebody else said, hey, I don't want them here. You know what I'm saying? So like the very diverse feedback there. Very interesting, actually.
sewage work at the privately owned 10-acre space at 38th in California caught the community off guard after being attacked at a protest.
This is caught them off guard. So like, has this not been in like? This is so weird. It's like the city is making like decisions and like without like voicing out what's going on and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe we should check out the city's internet site, and maybe they kind of talk about what's going on, what they're going to be doing with the taxpayers' dollars, right? What they're going to be doing with the migrants, and all of that stuff. But it's very strange that these people had just generally no idea what's gonna happen. It's very strange.
Julia Ramirez confronted her constituents.
I was not aware that the city trucks had been working on the lot after the fact. I did not have aldermanic prerogative in this decision.
So this is the alderman?
I was not asked or given a vote.
We have more than few thousand people who signed a signature here who said no.
Tonight, some of the answers they've demanded about when the tent shelter might open and who will live there finally came.
With respect to a move-in date, that is still to be determined. Are making assessments on the space and the land.
Prefabricated insulated structure. One reason we are using base camps is because it's a turnkey solution. That means it comes with all the things that we need.
For all the outrage, plenty of people stepped up begging their neighbors to remember their own history of immigration.
Housing is a human right.
The city says they're still.
Yeah, so it's debate going on apparently. Like I said, there's people there supporting the Salvadorians. I see. Very interesting. It seems, like I said, it seems as though they, like, despite them knowing that the money is coming out of their pockets, them being taxpayers and stuff like that, they're willing to foot the bill for these Salvadorians. My problem is Chicago already has a robust homelessness population, and this is very strange that we are completely bypassing the homeless population of Chicago and giving all of the support to the Salvadorians. Yes, I'm very well aware, and I very much so agree that shelter, food, breathable air, all of these things are human rights and stuff like that. Like, these people have the rights to have a roof over their head and such. But it's very strange to see Americans that have been here, or I'm sorry, to be more specific, Chicagoans literally living off on the street for like decades. You know what I'm saying? Not even like the only thing they've gotten is like, cups full of quarters. It's just like, it's really strange that like all of the empathy in the world and all the sympathy also is going to these Salvadorans from these people, but like they walk right past these homeless people every day, and they don't fight for those people. I haven't seen like, are these people come to town hall meetings and like trying to share some sympathies for the current homelessness population in Chicago? Or is it like all of a sudden because these people came across the border is that they now decided to share some sympathies? Very, very weird.
Still making assessments and repairs to this land, and as of now, they have no date for when this possible migrant camp could open, despite how the community feels about it.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago.
All right.
News.
So yeah, that's ain't enough context there. Well, what that kind of shows is that that people are that decisions are being made without the awareness of the people living in the neighborhood and stuff like that. I would like to believe, I hope that there's something on City Hall, Chicago's internet site or whatever, like the official internet site, telling everybody what's going on with current projects in Chicago and stuff like that, like what they're planning to do next. I will hope that's being made available and stuff like that. But it's just very strange that people are surprised about this. And then, as I said, there's a divide between supporters and unsupporters of the Salvadorians or the migrants. So, all right, well, let's get to the next video here. This is gonna be quite a long one. This is gonna be 40 minutes. But this is gonna be Brandon Johnson. Tell us what are you gonna be doing about these migrants? What are you gonna be doing with our money? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna make it sound good. Brandon Johnson's a very good speaker. I will give him credit for that. But I don't know. It's one. How do I put this? Hold on a second. Why is this? Hold on a second. This thing says clone Kanye. This is not what the stream is about right now. Yeah, what are we talking about here? Add channel update titles. Yeah. I don't know why this thing says clone Kanye. That don't make any sense. Anyway, yeah, like I said, Brandon Johnson is a very good speaker. But as they say about all goods, I mean, what I mean to say is Brandon Johnson is a good speaker, but as a politician, you can't. This is kind of your job to be a good speaker. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, politicians are not necessarily known for their honesty. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? And let them explain it. They are being honest, right? It's just that the honesty is kind of on the like. Are you sure about that side? You know what I mean? It's like more like a. I'm gonna just put it like I'm gonna put it this way. There's a difference between honesty and a politician being honest. It's not the same. And let's see if he gets into that today.
During my campaign for mayor, I spoke about the challenging fiscal reality of our city and my vision for investing in people and communities. The budget that I am releasing today reflects those challenges and our opportunities to begin the critical investments that are necessary to build a better, stronger, and more safer Chicago.
All right. Building a better, safer Chicago. Cool.
As we begin this work, I am thinking about my own family, especially my father, a pastor, a union laborer, raising 10 children and taking in foster children, working multiple jobs to keep us fed and sheltered.
Okay.
It is families like mine that I want to uplift with this budget. Families that I served as a teacher in Cabrini Green, USA, families that stood alongside of me when we fought to keep public schools and mental health clinics open.
Okay.
Families that have been driven out of Chicago over the last decade by budgets that underinvested in their communities while overtaxing their households with regressive property taxes. And I made a commitment to invest in people without balancing this budget on the backs of working families.
All right, so establishing the sympathies, establishing the empathy. We see a lot of this amongst Democrats, stuff like that, especially Joe Biden. He's really good with it. This is an attempt to reach at the hearts of the people to capture their positive attention, right? To get out that he's trying to get everybody out that lizard brain mentality. And I'm still watching. I like what I hear so far, right? But it still depends on what's actually going to happen. What the numbers are actually looking like, what he's actually offering here, right? So he can soften the blow all he want. I still want to know what the important part is.
And that is why I'm proud that this budget makes strategic investments in people and communities without raising base property taxes. It is a promise that I have made as a candidate and one that I'm keeping as mayor. This budget and multiple budgets to come, it's the people's budget. Investing in people is at the heart of this budget and my administration because I, like so many Chicagoans, know what disinvestment looks and feels like.
Okay.
Many of you know that my wife and I are raising our 3 children in Austin on the west side. We love our community, and we are proud to embrace its unique spirit each and every day.
See, this dude is an extremely good speaker. This is ridiculous. He went 2 minutes just talking about he just went 2 minutes just talking about how hard it is, how disenfranchised people have become, how bad economy has treated the regular people and all this stuff. Very, very this is top-notch stuff right here.
But we know that communities on the south and west sides, like Austin, deserve better. And too many communities in our city are shackled by disinvestment and a lack of opportunity and basic amenities.
Okay.
But the good news today is this is the city of Chicago. And here anything is possible.
Okay.
More than 100 years ago, when the Chicago River flowed into Lake Michigan, contaminating the drinking water and jeopardizing the health and safety of Chicago residents, this city committed to a monumental feat of engineering and ingenuity and rerouted its mighty waters.
So he's establishing that anything is possible, that if we put our budgets together, right, and put our efforts together, that we can make a contaminated situation fully digestible. All right, sure.
If we can do that, then we can certainly reroute the rivers of prosperity to the banks of disinvestment.
Okay.
In the song Liquid...
I don't know how you're going to do this by investing all of this money, all of our money into these migrants. I don't know how you're going to do that without attacking our property taxes.
Spirit by Gregory Porter. He says, the people are thirsty because of man's own natural hand. Watch what happens when the people catch wind, when the water hits the banks of that hard, dry land. Now, it will take time.
What a metaphor.
But we are going to see, Chicago, what happens when water hits that dry land.
Oh, my God. Hold on, man.
Ooh, bars.
I'll give him that one. That was actually... He hits you with the meanest metaphor right now. All right, we'll see what you're talking about, Brandon Johnson.
With each investment in our neighborhoods and our people, what I like to call the soul of Chicago, we are going to witness our city's great potential. We will ensure that every resident of this city can thrive in peace and prosperity, connected to all the resources they need to confidently say that we all know this to be true, that this is the greatest freaking city in the world, the city of Chicago. What I present here today is just our first step towards a better, stronger, safer Chicago. While building this budget, we had to confront the fiscal headwinds that we inherited. A $538 million structural deficit driven by rising labor expenses, dwindling COVID-era federal funding.
Yo, call in if you feel like it, y'all. Anybody watching want to call in and talk about anything that we're covering today? I'm all ears.
And an unprecedented escalating wave of migration that our city has never budgeted for before. We also had to confront decades of decisions and indecision that, quite frankly, left too many of our communities and working families behind.
Okay.
Leadership means telling people the truth.
Uh-oh.
That is what has been missing in Chicago.
All right.
Administrations.
Don't forget what I said now. There's a difference between being honest and a politician being honest. These are not the same things. You know what I'm saying? It's like when a politician is being honest, there is some truth in what he's saying. Don't get me wrong, but there's some nuances, there's some context that's necessary for people to understand before they engage in these types of conversations, right? So here and I are thinking I will help you, I will assist, and digesting BS when we see it.
Have refused to be honest about the true cost of excessive property tax and fee increases, evading pension obligations year after year, and underinvesting in our people, who are our city's greatest asset. But I campaigned on ending the politics of old and presenting Chicago residents an honest and transparent budget. That is what our city needs and deserves, and that is what we have done. Since releasing the budget forecast, my budget team and department heads have been hard at work developing a plan that not only closes the budget gap, but makes strategic investments in people.
Closing the budget gap. Closing the budget gap? What exactly does closing the budget gap mean?
And communities, especially those who have experienced historic disinvestment. We sought to do this through structural solutions without an over-reliance on one-time revenue. And I'm proud to say that today we present a balanced budget of $16.6 billion.
Okay. Over how long? Over what period of time is kind of the next question.
And how do we do this? We prioritize $253 million in expenditure savings consisting of operational savings that do not cut service provisions but focus on efficiencies and service delivery.
Okay.
Savings derived from better management of healthcare costs and savings from strategic bond refinancing. This balanced budget also includes improved revenue projections of $321 million consisting of higher revenue projections based on improved economic forecasts for key taxes, increased TIF surplus collection, and the strategic use of the city's fund balance. Again, I want to underscore that we balance this budget without increasing the city's base property tax.
All right. Okay, basically he's just saying that they're gonna rework how the money's being spent. I mean, is this like who doesn't do this? Who doesn't say they're gonna do this?
I was elected to end this government's addiction to the regressive taxation that has pushed working families to the brink, and that begins today. One top of mind issue that we are responding to in the moment is the wave of new arrivals who coming to Chicago seeking a better life in our country. More than 400 buses of asylum seekers have been sent to Chicago from the border since January of 2023. Of those, more than 300, roughly 75%, have been sent since the weekend before I was inaugurated.
300.
And currently, more than 11,000 asylum seekers are in shelters under the city's care, with nearly 4,000 at our police districts and airports waiting placement. Asylum seekers are fleeing countries destabilized for years by dangerous foreign policy. They see this nation and our city as a beacon of hope.
Dangerous foreign policy. It's in your best interest to find out exactly what foreign policy he's referring to. A lot of, like I said, this is part of what I was talking about. Not to say that you're gonna disagree with him calling it foreign policy, but I'm just saying for your own awareness, it's in your best interest to understand what he actually means by these foreign policies that that these Salvadorans are running away from. Because I definitely heard some things, but I'm not. These are things that I've yet to confirm myself. So, we might take a look down. Might take a peep down the pipeline of the Salvadorians and stuff like that. What's been going on? What's caused them to leave? You know what I mean.
Like so many immigrants before, and Chicago is a place strong enough to welcome and embrace newcomers while honoring our commitments to those who are already here, especially residents of communities that have long suffered from neglect and disinvestment. I'm going to be perfectly clear. What current residents need and deserve from our city is not the same as what new arrivals need in this moment. But we must meet all demands if we truly love all people. I am fully committed to doing just that in the coming months and years ahead.
Does it make sense? If we truly love all people, I don't see how it's Chicago's job. I don't see how Chicagoans' job. I don't see how it's Americans' job to love all people, right? To love, and I don't know, love is just one of those words that he's not gonna elaborate on, right? And this is why you kind of have to read between the lines for the most part, because he's not gonna explain what's in between those lines, right? What he's saying is, I mean, I'm just saying, to put loving everybody, loving all people on the backs of Chicagoans is kind of a tough call. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that literally everybody in the world, but everybody that comes to Chicago has to essentially live off, mine and everybody, every Chicagoan's paycheck. It's kind of a tough call because there's a bit of a housing situation in Chicago. There's a bit of a food market situation in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like, utility bills been going up also. Like, things have been going up. You know what I mean? And he's talking about, hey, we're not going to attack your property taxes. Well, dude, like, you're not going to attack. Nobody's attacking these wage, the minimum wage and the minimum wage problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting any substantial raises that's going along with that's following inflation and stuff like that. So it's like we Americans, and especially Chicagoans, have already met the situation. We are already dealing with some stuff. Feel me? And then you're tasking Chicagoans to love all people, and that's kind of a tough call for me.
You elected a mayor who loves people. Well done, Chicago.
Dude, I don't know. It's just weird to me, man. Loving people costs resources. It costs funds. This is not an easy thing to do. Salvador did not send any money to Chicago, to America, to help take care of these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we Americans, there's no Chicagoans that's going to go to El Salvador and going to receive all these humanitarian pro benefits and stuff like that, you know?
Let me also be very clear about why these buses are coming to our city at such a rapid rate.
Yeah.
The situation was created by right-wing extremists threatened by our values, and they're bent on sowing chaos and division in our city.
Right-wing extremists. You talking about the governor of Texas? I imagine. I know there was some beef going on between him, more Lori Lightfoot and that guy. I know she was criticizing the governor, or I believe it was the governor of Texas, for being so antagonistic against these migrants. Then he just flat out said, "Hey, you guys are a sanctuary city. How about y'all take them?" You know what I'm saying? And Chicago is a sanctuary city, and we had to. And Texas, the governor of Texas took advantage of that. Solved their own problem and solved Chicago's, or what I should specifically say, that at that time Lori Lightfoot's problem with Texas and with the governor, right? So this is I wouldn't call him a right-wing extremist per se, because this is something that should be for more or less bipartisan. As a matter of fact, I mean, for generations, for decades even, border security has been a bipartisan thing. Like, this isn't an extreme right talking point to any capacity. This is just a dude that's like, hey, we ain't got the money, we don't have the funds to take care of all of these people that's illegally coming into our state. Joe Biden wasn't doing anything about it. I don't know if Trump was doing anything about it. He solved the issue. He solved the problem that was going on in his state. That's what I'm trying to say, man. Here comes a collapse. That's fine.
But I don't flinch in the face of challenges, and neither does the city of Chicago. Since the first bus arrived over a year ago, we have upheld those values to welcome individuals and families seeking asylum. And I want to express my deep personal gratitude to the city staff, our mutual aid partners and volunteers, and Chicago.
Mutual aid partners. Oh, we got to talk about that too. Yes, they're, God damn. Do they even need a thank you? Like, one thing you're gonna find, some news has been floating around, like a lot of YouTubers channels and stuff like that. Even some news sources as well. Those people are getting paid something crazy. Like those, like nurses, like what did I see? I'm gonna post it up later. I'll have to bum it off another YouTuber. But like, yeah, like literally, nurses been getting what, 60,000? So I forget what at the rate they're going, a nurse would be getting $200,000 a year. Put it that way, right? Around $200,000. Like housekeepers are getting paid an outrageous price, outrageous salary. You know what I'm saying? So for him to say, "Oh yeah, these people, they're doing so much to help out with the migrant," well, of course they are when you pay them to what you're paying them. As far as the volunteers, them volunteers better ask for some checks, ask for their money. What are you talking about?
Residents and communities that have dedicated this effort for this past year. This budget supports increased staffing within the Department of Family and Support Services and the Office of Emergency Management and Communications to manage the network of migrant shelters and to support transition.
All right, so, geez. So here's my problem, right? It's fine that you're putting in a budget specifically for the assistance of these migrants and to pay the people, pay these workers. But last time I checked, you're paying Chicagoans much less money, much less money to help these migrants out. And you're not and you're not even hiring. They're not even hiring. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, this could be something that could be great for the Chicago people. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna get all of this money from Joe Biden and you're gonna reallocate funds in a more strategic way to better assist with the humanitarian struggle here, right? This can be a great boon for those workers, for those boots on the ground workers. But like I said, apparently you're not paying the Chicagoans themselves close to what you're paying the out of towners. And I understand that these out of towners are getting flown in and stuff like that, and they need they're in hotels and stuff like that, and they're not in their homes and stuff like that. But man, when I show you these numbers, man, it's gonna be very telling. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, it's gonna be very telling of the mismanagement of funds in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's like Chicagoans our tax dollars, right? Is not only getting dumped into people that didn't even vote for Brandon Johnson to begin with. But it's also going to these out of towners at these outrageous rates. You know what I'm saying? These outrageous salaries. All of this money that's getting paid to these people is coming out of my and some of the people watching this pockets.
To self-sufficiency. And after inheriting an expensive emergency contract, multiple expensive contracts, my administration is also finding ways to both expand space and lower the costs by renegotiating staffing and food contracts and contracting and hiring Chicagoans and Chicago businesses to provide the critical services.
Okay, yeah, all right. He's giving us plans. I'm gonna stop pausing. I apologize, but he's giving us plans and he's giving us this is what's gonna happen. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, but like specifics matter in these conversations. You know what I mean? And it's like just because you're making the idea to renegotiate these terms and these and for these services doesn't necessarily mean this stuff is guaranteed. Like these are people that you have to do business with also. If they don't like if they don't like the checks that you're cutting them, then like how bad is it gonna get for people like for the people that's funding this whole escapade to begin with? When in the beginning, before all of this, when all this could be avoided, but I don't know. Not accepting all of these people, or if nothing else, treat them the same way that you treat the rest of the homelessness population in Chicago. And you know what? And if you are gonna do all of this stuff, you had better. I swear, you had better include the Chicago's homeless population into these homes and this humanitarian plight that you're putting together. And I don't know. I have no idea how sustainable that is. Hopefully it is sustainable. Hopefully it is. But if you're only going to be focused on humanitarian struggles while only relying on the people for to fund this, you know what I'm trying to say, to get the money together to power this campaign. Well, what do you talk? How do I even explain? It's like it's not even rocket science. It won't be sustainable because, as I said earlier, Chicagoans are being drugged through the mud. You know what I'm saying? And you can say that our property tax not going to take a hit, but what is going to take a hit? Like Brandon Johnson had better be taking all this into consideration before making these grandiose, these heart moving speeches and stuff like that. Like it's all this is politics, bro. And if you're not in tune, if you're not asking the right questions, if you're not asking for the context and the nuance, right, he's gonna just walk all over you. He's gonna continue to receive these claps. And the thing is, bro, it's not just Brandon. Don't get me wrong. It's not just Brandon Johnson. It's kind of Democrats as a whole for the most part, but I wouldn't run it past Republicans either, to be honest with you.
With the temporary protected status that's extended to Venezuelans, we are also ramping up our work authorization to enable new arrivals.
Venezuelans? Salvadorans.
To work and seek pathways out of shelters. And as our city meets the moment, we continue to call upon the state of Illinois.
My bad. If it was Venezuelans this whole time, I got to take that back. I got sworn it was Salvadorians. My bad.
And the federal government to provide greater coordination and collaboration and resources dedicated to this issue. Now, how we
What's up, everybody that just came through? Thanks for joining in and joining the conversation.
Support those who seek
call in if you feel like it.
Refuge in our country and in our city. It speaks to our values. But make no mistake, this is not just our issue. It is a state issue. A national.
Bro, I was about to get triggered. He said it's a state issue. Like, bro, this is not a state issue. This is low-key a world issue. This is not something. Okay, he did not say it's a state. He said he didn't finish his sentence. So let me just chill for a second. But yes, it is not just a paper issue.
No issue. A global issue.
It is, okay.
But because we are the city of Chicago, we will continue to do our part. And we call upon all of our partners to do theirs. Our supporting this humanitarian endeavor and investing in our residents, it's not an either or. We can do both. And we will.
If you say so, man.
To ensure we base the development of this budget on the principles of co-governance. My administration lengthened our community engagement process so that we can get the ideas from everyone, hear from a broad group of stakeholders. And throughout this process, my administration held 4 budget engagement meetings in communities across the city, including for the first time ever, a budget summit with more than 350 young people collecting their ideas and hearing directly from them.
That doesn't mean anything, Brandon Johnson. Just because you have a stage where people are where you're allowing people to speak does not mean you're finna enact anything anybody is saying. Especially when a lot of those people are probably paid to be there. Probably paid to be there by people like you. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's not. Oh, god damn, the trick back is crazy, man. These politicians. It's the politicians with their political honesty. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm sorry.
In fact, we collected thousands of comments and responses and surveys from residents.
All right.
We met with hundreds of community and issue-based advocates, and we listened to Chicago City Council caucus leaders, chairpersons, and alderpersons to better understand the critical priorities of their communities. This process has been informed by people because we know that to truly make transformative investments in people, we must do so with people. And that's what this budget does.
Okay.
The 2024 budget is a down payment on this administration's priorities to empower people and especially young people through economic and employment opportunities.
There you go.
Because our youth.
Thank you. Economic and give us some damn jobs. There you go. That the young kids around the city definitely needs to work. They need something to do so they can stay off the damn streets. That's exactly what you need to be saying.
Our youth are our city's present and future. The scripture says, where your treasure is, so will your heart be also. And our heart remains with our treasure, our children.
Okay.
My administration will invest in young people because they are the ones who will lead us to a better, stronger, safer Chicago.
Yeah,
as a former teacher and father of 3, for me, there is no other way. We know that 59% of the workforce population under the age of 25 in this city is made up of workers of color. And we also know that unemployment among young Chicagoans, particularly our young black women, rose during the pandemic and is still lagging behind in the pandemic rebound. But to address this, on my first day in office, I signed an executive order charging the budget director to evaluate all available resources within the year's budget to reallocate to existing city-funded youth development or youth employment and enrichment programs, to support additional summer positions as well as year-round employment opportunities. And within weeks of taking office, And in collaboration with our sister agencies, community organizations, the business community, we were able to increase the number of youth summer employment by 4,000 jobs, filling nearly 25,000 positions over the summer, an increase of 20% from the previous summer.
Okay,
but we
good.
know that's not enough.
Good. Very well done.
We know that's not enough because more than 46,000 young people applied for our summer programs this year.
That's good.
So here's what we're doing. We're dedicating more than $76 million towards youth jobs and programming in the budget, which will fund nearly 4,000 additional youth employment opportunities with the target of providing more than 28,000 opportunities for young people this summer. That's in this budget.
All right.
And this is how we begin to make transformative change in the lives of our young people. Change that we will build on in future budgets. Our investments, however, are not only in youth employment opportunities, but employment opportunities for all Chicagoans. And that is why last week, the City Council passed the historic one fair wage legislation that finally ends sub-minimum wage for tipped workers in an industry that black women are overwhelmingly impacted by. The City Council gave black women a raise. Now, as we work to implement one fair wage and other legislation that upholds the rights and protections of Chicago's workers, we are investing in additional staff and resources within the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protections Office of Labor Standards to ensure that they have the resources needed to defend and serve all workers. In addition, to bolster my commitment to Chicago workers, this budget establishes the Office of Labor Relations within the Mayor's office, led by Deputy Mayor Bridget Early. And this office will ensure that this administration's efforts and policies align with the needs of both employee and employer while working to create a better, stronger, and safer working conditions for all of our workers. We do that in this budget.
Okay.
Now, another pillar of my administration will be to ensure that Chicagoans have access to the tools and services they need to lead healthy lives. And this begins with addressing the mental health needs of our communities.
Smart.
By continuing to invest more than $15 million per year in the mental health safety net system while expanding by 75% the number of Chicago Department of Public Health mental health staff working in our public clinics and within our 911 response teams. This budget also makes critical investments towards aligning our mental health network with the principles of treatment, not trauma. With more than doubling the number of staff on the CARE 911 alternate response team, Black Chicagoans are the largest group served by both CARE 911 and outpatient mental health providers, making up 43% of the total number of people in both programs. So this large and well-resourced 911 alternate response program will allow us to continue helping the people most affected by disinvestment, expanding the number of neighborhoods that these teams serve, allowing for extended service hours into the evenings and weekends. Through this investment, my administration is moving alternate response out of a pilot phase and making it permanent part of how we approach crisis response in the city of Chicago.
All right. I mean,
with care and
easily likable humanitarian decisions. Like I said, likable. How do I put this? Likable decisions being made to being allocating funds directly to the mental health safety net, as he had put it. Obviously, what he said earlier for the jobs and stuff like that. Like I said, likable things. Absolutely. This is just, I mean, from here on out, it's just about like how is the execution going to look, how and what is the trade off going to be. Like I said, as he has described it, these are going to be strategic fund redistributions. You know what I mean? Reallocating of Chicagoans' tax dollars and stuff like that. I like the idea of our tax dollars going to humanitarian plights to, as he had put it, treatment, not trauma. That's a pretty good slogan right there. It's likable stuff. What he's saying is definitely likable stuff, and not much to really talk against in this. I'm letting him rock for the most part. But it's just like I said, it's gonna be something I'm gonna have to follow, and I'm gonna be consistent with, you know. And if he's gonna execute all of this stuff, I would like to be the one that notifies everybody about this stuff. So all this is going definitely going into the archive, though. I'll tell you that much.
Passion and not mass incarceration and traumatization.
Okay.
No more for our communities.
Okay. Smart.
This budget also builds capacity for another tenet of treatment, not trauma. The reopening of additional mental health clinics by continuing funding for our existing clinics.
Okay.
And supporting 2 additional clinics within existing CDPH spaces. City Council last week also voted in support of the creation of a treatment not trauma working group, which over the course of the next year will develop and identify the best methods for expanding city-provided mental health clinic services throughout communities and bringing back our capacity for fully ran city-run mental health clinics.
All right, so it's a study group, you know, or what do they call it? I can't think of a good word for it. But they amassed a group of thinkers, right, that can come up with strategies that have a combined goal of making things better for, you know, mental health and stuff like that, and trying to make it a more trying to make something. You know what I'm trying to say? Drawing a blank here. Like I said, he's essentially amassing a group of thinkers that can essentially help. They can come up with strategies on how to allocate funds, what to shave off, what to reinforce in order to essentially create a more robust mental health facility for those that absolutely need it. And, you know, I would argue for those that can't even afford it to begin with, which is, again, humanitarian campaign, which is very likable. Obviously, it's very likable. Much rather see this stuff done with the money of Chicagoans than reinvesting it into people that, again, that don't contribute.
We are making our city a safer and a more compassionate and healthier place for everyone. It's that same spirit that this budget furthers my administration's commitment to environmental justice. You know, this summer we saw some of the most disastrous effects of climate change. The torrential rainfall that flooded homes on the west and south side, southwest sides, and the wildfire smoke that covered our city. And we know that not every Chicagoan and not every neighborhood feels the effects of climate change the same way. The impact of climate change is deeply steeped in inequity. More than a third of the city's communities have at least one census tract that's considered environmental justice neighborhood, which means that these neighborhoods, mostly in South and West Side communities, have a high concentration of industry, are bisected by major highways, and where pollution and toxic chemicals are a greater threat to the health and safety of our people. And today, I'm happy to announce that this 2024 budget reestablishes the Department of the Environment.
All right.
Which will coordinate our city's environmental and resiliency efforts. In addition to that investment, the FY24 budget also commits $25 million to climate initiatives, including more than $4 million in Chicago's climate infrastructure grant program, $15 million to decarbonize 1 to 4 unit homes for eligible low-income Chicagoans, and $6 million in city's composting system. And lastly, we must not forget one of the most simplest but very effective climate investment that we can make, and that's our tree canopy. By the end of next year, we will have planted 55,000 new trees, well on our way to our goal of 75,000. In seeking environmental justice, let us not forget about housing justice. Because making investments in affordable housing is another critical and essential focus of my administration.
I gotta hear this one.
Housing is a human right.
Very profitable human right at that.
And this budget helps secure the right of housing with more than $250 million invested in homelessness supports, including an increase in the city's flexible housing pool and operational supports for our shelter network for the unhoused. Homelessness is up 12% since 2019. And Black Chicagoans account for almost 70% of the unhoused population.
You got that right.
It is an outrage that 1/4 of renters pay more than half of their paychecks just to make rent, with little left over for necessities.
Very little,
and it's an injustice that 1 in 4 Black students in Chicago public schools experience homelessness at least once during their lives. Advocates say that there are more than 68,000 Chicagoans that are experiencing homelessness at some point throughout the year, including almost 20,000 Chicago public schools students. And that is why my administration is committed to passing the Bring Chicago Home ordinance to take this to the voters. Bring Chicago Home will create a sustainable and permanent funding source to facilitate permanent supportive housing and address the problem of homelessness in our city.
All right.
With this budget, we are also expanding the Department of Housing's home repair program to $10 million and pairing that with more than $12 million in funding to offer critical support to low-income homeowners who are in need of repairs.
Okay.
Additionally, we are making the largest annual investment to date to the Home Modification Program, administered by the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities, ensuring that residents with disabilities can make their homes accessible.
All right, so I gotta pause right here for a second. I'm gonna say it like this: if he can make all this happen without a couple of these things happening as well, if he can make this budget work, right? Everything on the same. You just heard. Got something for the migrants. He's cutting a check for the migrants. He's getting some. He's investing a lot. What did he say? Hold on. I wrote in my notes right here. Yeah, $76 million for youth workers. Right. Now he addressing poverty-stricken homes, people that need repairs, and homelessness. He's about to attack homelessness. I'm gonna say it like this: if he can make this budget work without screwing over our property taxes, which was the promise of his, without pissing off the who are these guys? The company owners that pretty much contribute heavily into the investment of this city as it stands today, right? Without pissing them off and making them leave. And if he can fulfill all of these promises without stepping on the toes of the people that's funding it, that would say a lot about the previous leadership in Chicago. Like, for real. Because this is pretty much unheard of. These are a lot of promises, and he didn't give. Let's not forget he didn't specify any sort of time limit whatsoever. No type of terms, or he didn't specify the specifics of these deals. He didn't specify which. He offered no promises as far as when all this stuff is going to be enacted. Like, there's a lot on the table as far as that can contribute toward the possibility of this stuff even being plausible or even realistic, you know. So, as I said, if he can craft a budget funded solely by Chicagoans that will address homelessness, decrepit housing of low-income Chicagoans, jobs for the youth, for people who's under 25, migrants, cutting a check for the migrants, cutting a substantial check for the people that are assisting the migrants. If he can do all of these things while fulfilling his promise of not affecting the casual Chicagoans' property taxes, not pissing off the companies. How you doing, Tisha? Not pissing off the companies that's like essentially economically funding or keeping together the city of Chicago, so to the point where they decide to leave. I mean, he even wants to address the pollution in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Fixing up the west side, fixing up the south side. If he can do all of these things while not driving people, Chicagoans, away from Chicago, again, that's going to say a whole lot about the past. That's going to say a whole lot about the past leadership in Chicago. So we'll see if we make it. We'll see if he can make it happen and when he can make it happen. Is it even possible within his term? Is it possible within the terms of the next 2 or 3 mayors? You know what I'm saying? Time will tell, but like, we'll see. Otherwise, we like very likable, very agreeable, very likable speech. Love everything he said. You know what I'm saying? We'll see though.
These investments will sustain the dream of home ownership for multiple generations of homeowners, stabilizing communities at risk of gentrification.
Gentrification.
One of the greatest
gentrification. He said the magic word, gentrification. Very interesting. What was this? 24. Let me write this down in my notes real quick because I'm gonna have to come back to this one later. 24, 23. He mentioned gentrification. Gentrification is a big conversation amongst Black Chicagoans. It is to wrap it all in a nutshell, is essentially a supposed strategy that essentially means that Black homes or Black neighborhoods will be taken over by more pronounced capitalists, by a more dominant group of people. Typically white people, but not limited to white people. Obviously, they're like, white people are not the big enemy here. You know what I'm saying? This is like a very specific type of capitalist. You know what I'm saying? and it's an effort to dismantle Chicago black neighborhoods and black communities, and that's all we pretty much have left at this point. It may be shambles, it may be decrepit. It obviously needs all the help in the world. But if he is truly if he's dead ass about addressing the gentrification, the potential of gentrification in Chicago, all right. I like to see it. I like to see it happen. Like I said, he's saying all of the right things. He's saying all the right things to especially black people. But as I said earlier, there's a very big difference between honesty, and let me do this correctly this time, and political honesty. You know what I'm saying? And as I said, he's saying all the right things right now.
Priorities of this administration is making our city a safe place to work and live, to build a business, to buy a home, and to raise a family. So this budget makes investments to increase community safety, including the establishment for the first time ever, the Office of Community Safety within the mayor's office, led by Deputy Mayor Garen Gatewood. This new Office of Community Safety will work with vested stakeholders and communities to lead our city's full force of government, comprehensive and collaborative community safety strategy. As part of that strategy, we are investing more than $100 million in anti-violence programming, restorative justice for reentry services, domestic violence and gender-based violence prevention and intervention, and the city's Community Safety Coordination Center. These investments will allow us to do a few things: expand our partnerships with community-based violence interrupters, support residents who return home from incarceration, and improve support systems for victims, survivors, and offenders to prevent recidivism.
Recidivism? What the hell is it? Hold on. One moment, please. I don't know what recidivism means at all. Hold on. Okay, recidivism. The tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend. Okay, all right, gotcha.
We got to do it with some intelligence.
Correct.
We're taking a smart, data-driven, community-centered approach to safety while also addressing the root causes of violence. I'm grateful for the City Council's confirmation of Superintendent Larry Snelling. Grateful. Because it's another important step forward in our journey to create a safer Chicago. Superintendent Snelling is a proven leader with decades of experience and the respect of his peers. He's going to reinvigorate our commitment to constitutional policing and full consent decree compliance.
Okay.
Which is critical.
Okay.
Which is critical. It's critical for the healing of our communities and the relationship between the community and the police department.
Okay, so yeah, real quick. This definitely reaffirms my position that Brandon Johnson is not. He's not really a Democrat. He's actually very much so a leftist. You know what I mean? And a lot of the contrarian ideas or concepts or talking points against leftists is they're entirely too idealistic. And I mean, it's just a lot of the counterpoints I kind of been offering throughout this live stream of the simple concept of where's money going to come from, bro. But jokes aside, though, like, yeah, he's a leftist, and I, for the most part, like leftists. You know what I'm saying? Especially leftists that are not necessarily entirely too idealistic to the point where the things that they're presenting are not sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's like the whole worry. That's the concern of being entirely too leftist. You know what I mean? It's the overabundance on humanitarian compromises at the expense of capital gain, at the expense of not capital gain, but like the capital necessary to fund it, you know, because like the right wing idea, right, is to invest into corporation, invest in the companies, because the companies essentially fund the market. They essentially, you know, the companies offer the jobs to the people, all of those things. You know what I'm saying? But it's also it also puts more of it puts the onus on the people themselves to create solutions for their own, to create solutions for the problems of life in general. You know what I'm saying? Whereas leftists essentially want the government to create solutions for the good, for the will of the people. You know, and like I said, it's great. It's great stuff on paper. I'm just really worried that, is this stuff sustainable? Again, is it sustainable, and how will it be sustainable? If we look at I'm pretty sure that was Venezuela. Venezuela ran under a socialism schism, a socialism market. You know what I mean? An economy, if you will, where they had a huge abundance of natural resources that funded their entire market. Unfortunately, something happened with that. Don't know. It could have been, who knows what happened to their oil plants and stuff like that. But it failed. It fell through. And then the people within, and then the problem with them not investing into infrastructure, into making more money for the country, so that when that oil ran dry, or that natural resource ran dry, the people could essentially generate wealth for themselves, so they can still be functionable without the government doing as much intervening as it was. But instead, the government did a lot of humanitarian work, got a huge population of the homelessness off the street. I mean, fed everybody, did everything that Brandon Johnson has been mentioning this entire time. Problem is, like as I said, when a natural resource like bag fell through, they had nothing else to sustain themselves with, and then essentially it ruined the entire economy, to the point where Venezuela is for lack of a better term, not what it used to be. But I like leftists, and because I do have sympathies for people that are just unfortunate. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it brings a huge strain on the people that are working for their dimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about the taxes in the future, as we all, as right wingers typically are. And I'm not right winger. Don't get me wrong. I'm worried about the taxes in the future. I'm worried about the prices of the food. I'm worried about the bills and stuff like that. You name it. I'm worried about inflation, because a lot of leftist ideals they do too much dancing around inflation for my taste. Keep talking, Brandon Johnson.
So together, Superintendent Stelling and I are committed to increasing the number of detectives to the Chicago Police Department to solve major crimes. 70 detectives have been promoted since I've taken office.
Okay, so all right. Now, I'm sorry. I apologize. I know y'all getting mad at me. This probably saved them a bit. Not saved them per se, but a common leftist talking point is being very, and I mean very, antagonistic towards police. So this is the stuff that is going to keep them in the good standings with us, with corporate Democrats like Joe Biden and his constituents, right? Leftists really don't like police officers. So him scratching the backs of police officers is definitely a good thing. It truly is a good thing. I know a lot of leftists feel it being necessary that we dismantle the police departments across the nation. That can be more that is completely retarded. It's extremely stupid. It truly is. There's not a community in America that's ready for no police departments whatsoever. Defunding the police, well, depending on who you talk to about what defunding the police is, it can be an okay thing. It can be a good thing. Again, this depends on who how we define defunding the police. But for right now, I'm gonna leave it at that.
And this budget creates 100 additional detective positions, moving us more than halfway towards the goal of 200 detectives that I made a commitment to doing during my campaign.
Okay. It's a good thing.
This increased investigative capacity will allow us to hold violent offenders accountable while bringing justice and restoring confidence to impacted residents.
All right.
We also understand that effective policing requires a community-based lens. One major step in that direction is the increased civilianization of our police force. We are adding just under 400 new civilian positions to CPD to provide aid and support, which will free up officers to perform the law enforcement duties for which they were trained.
I've never heard that a day in my life. Civilian positions in the police department? So I mean, is this like community watch type programs and and things along those lines? It's kind of I'm curious to see how that unfolds.
This budget also invests in data and technology resources as we look to evaluate and improve call time response. We will be intentional in our community safety strategy, deploying not just police officers, but the community, businesses, sister agencies, and the full force of government, because we know that true safety requires this approach.
That is true.
And every investment in youth, education, housing, mental health, and environmental justice layered together for the long term will fulfill our promise to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. But it is going to take all of us. And one of the most important obligations that we uphold is our responsibility to deliver efficient and effective services with the greatest impact. And through strategic investments, this budget furthers our progress in the lead service line replacement program. 9 of the top 10 Chicago zip codes with the largest percentages of high lead levels were neighborhoods with the majority of Black and brown residents. The city has set an ambitious goal to replace all 409,000 lead service lines, the most of any U.S. city.
Okay.
And we're doing this to ensure clean drinking water for every single neighborhood and resident, with the priority placed in replacing lead service lines in daycare centers and Black and Latinx communities.
He's replacing the
in
freaking
2024,
water pipes.
we will invest more than $53 million to aid this effort, recommitting ourselves to safety for our most vulnerable residents and communities. And one of the best ways we can build the operational capacity in government and provide the most efficient services possible is to invest in our technology infrastructure.
Okay.
And so today, I'm excited to announce that this budget creates a new Department of Technology and Innovation. This is long overdue.
It's very smart. This is very smart, because this is what I was just expressing about the Venezuelans. They did not they didn't invest into something that could make them more money, to make them sustainable. You know what I mean? They assumed that this natural resource is going to fund their lives for God knows how long. You know what I mean? But Brandon Johnson here is allocating some money towards technology, which will bring money, which will bring resources to Chicago. So that's going to be something that can help circumvent this huge currency dump into humanitarian struggles and humanitarian campaigns.
To residents and businesses who think that the city's gears churn too slowly or its processes are too cumbersome, this is a critical step in making sure that our government works for you.
Okay.
Better technology means we can process contracts and hire vendors quicker, giving rise to developments that help our communities thrive. And we can enable city departments to innovate and to modernize, spurring economic growth and vitality throughout our entire city. Ultimately, this is an investment in our future, a future that will lead to more accessible, enhanced, and equitable city services. Now, I'm grateful for the financial leadership of this city. It's led by our budget director, Annette Guzman. Thank you for your leadership. Our Chief Financial Officer, Jill Jarowski.
These just a shout outs.
And of course, our Comptroller, Chase Rawinkle. It's like finding the beard. If you find the beard, you'll find Chase. But this has been an incredible team. The work that you've done to put this budget together. And with this team at the helm, we will continue to make decisions based on sound fiscal policies, including our commitment to reducing our structural budget deficit over time and meeting our pensions and our managing our debt obligations.
Okay.
We're going to do both.
Okay.
This administration is also committed to fiscal responsibility and ensuring that we have the resources to pay for these new investments. We will not repeat the failures of the past by spending money we do not have and bankrupting our future.
All right. He has just he must have heard me talking. I hear you. I hear you, Brandon. I hear you, man. Like I said, he said he's very well aware of the worry that we'll be spending money that we don't have. I'm investing into this channel now more than ever, and you will definitely be hearing from me if he's following through with this stuff or not. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be quite the journey. You know what I'm saying? But this being very important, probably one of the more well-sounded Chicago black mayors I've ever in my lifetime, especially. Probably since I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry. But yeah, what is it? I mean, like I said, we see what's going on. Let's see what he do.
We also have relied too long on a tax structure that heavily burdens our lowest income residents. And it's too reliant on property taxes, fees, and fines, and rates. We know that 5%, an annual raise, if you get one, does not coincide with the property tax raises that have constantly burdened us down. Just doesn't happen that way. We also recognize that a $95 city sticker or a $100 parking ticket weighs more heavily on the family that earns $30,000 a year versus a family that earns $150,000 a year.
Okay.
And that is why this budget proposes expanding the city's utility billing relief program to include 3 flat buildings and making the administrative debt relief and clear path relief programs permanent.
All right. Debt relief?
Because these are programs that will help working families get out of the debt and save for the future, while also managing and maintaining the city's revenue streams. In a recent study, comparing tax burdens in large cities, Chicago families earning $25,000 a year had a total tax burden of 15.4%. And for our families earning $150,000 a year, that tax burden is 11.6%. That family earning $25,000 a year is paying a tax rate that is 33% higher than the family earning $150,000 a year. We got to do better, Chicago. Okay. We must do better. And that is why this budget holds the line on property taxes and why we will continue to work with all stakeholders to create revenue that weans us from our addiction to the regressive taxation, pushing so many of our working families out of the city of Chicago. Yeah. And that is why the first major step in that direction is to bring Chicago home. Now, we will continue to move with competency and compassion and collaboration to find other solutions. And next, I want to talk to you about the important dynamic of pensions in terms of the city and our economic and fiscal health. Our employees seek retirement security through our 4 pension funds. They do not participate in Social Security. Rather, they participate in the collective trust that is a pension. Unfortunately, our pensions are currently only 20% funded because of the city's regretful history of neglecting obligations to the retirement security of its workers.
Okay.
But I'm committed to workers and our pensioners.
Early
in my administration, I established a pension working group that brought together my administration, labor leaders, state partners, city council leaders, and other advocates and experts to tackle the pressing issue ahead of us, meeting our obligations with sustainable funding sources. And since 2020, the required increases in our pension contributions have risen approximately $1 billion. In this budget, we are making an additional supplemental payment of $307 million on top of our required pension payments in 2024 to ensure that we keep the unfunded liabilities within our pension funds from growing. This supplemental payment will help us move quicker to improve the financial health of our funds and lower the cost over the long term. And in the end, we are demonstrating our commitment to ensuring that pension funds reach a point of financial stability and our retirees receive the benefits that they have earned and deserve. In addition to investing in retirement security, in Chicago, we use municipal bonds to fund capital improvements and investments in critical infrastructure. Using bonds allows us to spread the cost of these investments over time and over the generations will ultimately benefit. This year's budget includes a payment of approximately $1 billion in the principal amount of debt, which frees up our capacity for investment in priorities such as our lead service line replacement, airport modernization, and other programs, and so much more. And furthermore, we are distributing grants and moving the Chicago Recovery Plan forward, utilizing bond proceeds and American Recovery Plan funding to support community and neighborhood investments, to grow small businesses, to beautify streetscapes, and to invest in mental health and anti-violence programs.
Okay.
We are analyzing and reviewing the projects in the Chicago Recovery Plan to ensure that the investments are targeted to achieve measurable outcomes for our city. Responsibility and accountability are critical to ensuring the success of the plan.
Okay.
Now, this budget and subsequent budgets inevitably hinge on the strength and resiliency of the Chicago economy. And despite macroeconomic headwinds, the outlook of our economy is strong. And in the next year, our economy will continue to be supported by both large-scale and neighborhood events. My administration is committed to igniting tourism and economic vibrancy and engaging all of our neighborhoods throughout this amazing city. And so we have budgeted and we commit $2 million in funding to support neighborhood festivals, bringing funding for such events back to pre-pandemic levels to celebrate the uniqueness of every single community. In addition to large-scale and neighborhood events, major developments and businesses are coming to Chicago in the years ahead. Google is investing $1 billion in the Thompson Center because its workers want to be in Chicago.
Good.
That investment will not only invigorate our technology sector, but it will also anchor the revitalization of LaSalle Street for the next generation. Other businesses like Invenergy and the Campari Group continue to make investments in our downtown commercial corridors, facilitate high growth industries like clean energy in Chicago. Developments like the expansion of logistics firm, which is Total Quality Logistics, New Horizon Steel, which is the largest Black-owned steel company in Chicago, and the continued growth of the Fulton Market District will continue to demonstrate the resiliency of our economy. And finally, to ensure our continued growth and strength, this administration and this city will always promote, market, and praise such vital and precious assets. Our reputation of being a central rail, our air, our transportation hub, our world-class colleges and universities, and cultural amenities, our majestic lakefronts and our parks, the best workers in the world, the best food in the world, the diversity of our economy. All of these assets and more are why we can look forward to many more years of growth and vitality.
Yeah.
Now, as I close, I am truly humbled and honored to be standing before you, presenting this budget as our first step to fulfilling promises to invest in people and align our work with my vision for a better, stronger, safer Chicago. As we look ahead to the next steps of this budget process and the future of our city, my administration will continue to be grounded in the principles of co-governance and collaboration. Over the next months, my office will closely work with members of this body to pass a budget that reflects our values. We will continue our community engagement efforts as part of that process, ensuring that the voices and ideas of Chicagoans are heard and adopted in our work. I want to thank the Office of Budget Management, city departments, city staff, residents, and the community partners who helped shape this effort. Let us go forth in this journey together, united by the fact that Chicago is truly the greatest city in the world, and we collectively have the power to make it even greater. This is our moment to finally have a budget that reflects the interests and the values of the people. Today, sisters and brothers, Chicago, I present to you the people's budget. Thank you. God bless you all, and God bless the greatest freaking city in the world, the city of Chicago.
Bars.
All right. The people's budget. Okay. Let's see here. I guess I'll keep it on that. Yeah, we're not gonna do the next video. The next video is how long is the next video anyway? We're gonna just do it tomorrow. I want to try to start. Tomorrow we're gonna be going over the Breakfast Club interview with Mark Lamont Hill. Yes, this one's even longer. I'm not gonna make y'all keep y'all up all night. Yeah. So just talk a little bit about Brandon Johnson a little bit in that whole conversation. Not the conversation, but what we just experienced there, what we just witnessed there, bro. I think the biggest takeaway again for me is, bro, if he can make all of this stuff happen, he named a whole lot of stuff. I will not be able to name all of it, but most notably, getting the kids something to do because they are running the streets and they're acting crazy. They're acting belligerent. You name it. All the negative words, all the negative adjectives you get in the dictionary. That's how bad they are, right? And running the streets and causing ruckus and all this other stuff. They need something to do, right? And I did like what Brandon Johnson said at the height of the first I guess stampede that happened downtown Chicago with all those kids jumping over, dancing on top of cars, breaking windows, hanging off of light poles, you name it. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Hey, don't blame these kids for the inaction of the adults." You know what I'm saying? If the adults had did what they were supposed to, or what we were supposed to do, these kids will have something to do. They won't be sitting there causing a ruckus and causing a scene if we laid down the groundwork, if we laid down the proper foundation so that they will have something to do with their energy. You know what I'm saying? It's essentially giving kids like recess, but not putting up gates so they don't run out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like the work needed to be done first the work needed to be done first by the adults before we start judging the kids and all that stuff, whatever. So this is his idea of giving the kids something to do, so that they stay out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? And that's very respectable. You know what I mean? Other than that, I mean, the migrants making homes, building shelters for the migrants. Multi-million-dollar escapade at that alone. Cutting the people that assist them a fat check. Like that's something else. That's something else that on top of the migrant situation. The mental health facilities. I mean, talking about funding the current ones so much to the point where they will build new ones. You know what I'm saying? Fixing up the west side and the south side of Chicago, fixing piping and poverty-stricken areas. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like all humanitarian, like leftist adjacent like actions, legislation that he's trying to pass, that he's trying to budget in. You know what I'm saying? And I love to see it. I truly would love to see it. But as all other like more right wing skepticists, you gotta wonder where the money's gonna come from. And he addressed it. He addressed it by saying, we're not gonna spend any money we don't have. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, well, otherwise we heard a lot of promises, we heard a lot of plans. We didn't hear outcomes. You know what I'm saying? Which is completely unrealistic to imagine, to expect, obviously. But him letting us know what's gonna be done in the coming 2024, I would imagine it. I mean, I don't really see this really happening. I don't really see a quarter of these things happening next year. I don't even see a quarter of these things like really being fully realized in this entire term. So, but like I said, a lot of great promises. Lovely promises. And not much really to add about that. I'm just gonna be covering it as many days as I can, for as much as the stuff kind of pops up on my lap and stuff like that. That's pretty much all I can promise. That's all I can promise. I can promise you that much. You know what I'm saying? But as far as what this dude is going to be doing with the budgeting, with the money of Chicagoans and the taxpayers' dollars and stuff like that, it's like, man, easier said than done is an understatement. More so than anything, if this stuff all were to come to fruition, I would say even in the next 10 years, if he laid the groundwork for this stuff to actually work, I would greatly call to question the past leadership of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So or if nobody's gonna call in and stuff like that, I can go ahead and end the stream and all that stuff. I can let everybody get their sleep in and stuff like that. But Austin had a pretty good time talking to you guys. You're gonna be seeing you're gonna see a lot more of me coming in here on out. Like I said, I'm done playing Starfield, so I can finally I'm no longer shackled by the entertainment and the fun of video games, not as much at least. But yeah, man. So like I said, you're gonna so in the coming. Let me see what we got in down the pipeline here. We're gonna be covering Brandon Johnson like quite a bit. I pretty much got all of my Kanye stuff out the way. If anybody want to talk to me about Kanye stuff and disagree with me, I know there's plenty of people that disagree with me about my Kanye takes, my Ye takes. That's completely fair and all that stuff. But please call in and voice your disagreements so we can have a nice and productive conversation. We're definitely gonna be talking plenty of politics up in here. We're gonna be talking social issues. I do have another video surrounding gender identity that I want to get out there. I think that's a pretty important even if I know there's plenty of conservatives listening right now, and I know this is a conversation that you don't care for, and I completely understand. But like this is just something that we are gonna have to come to terms with. The way colloquial uses of words kind of work, you know what I'm saying? That's how the meanings of words typically change. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us are going kicking and screaming about the new interpretation or the new understanding of the word gender is what it is. But there's still some caveats. There's still some things that these pro-gender people are kind of getting wrong. You know what I'm saying? I think we need to have those conversations also. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not gonna hold up too much of y'all time. Like I said, I got a new phone line now. As you see, it's right up top. Call. I won't answer the phone when I'm not online. When I'm not live. I did not install this on my cell phone on my cellular device, so you would not. I will if this number ain't up there. There we go. If the number's not up there and I'm not live streaming, I will not be answering that phone call. But otherwise, what else am I going to be talking about? I know there's something else down. Oh yeah, of course, the Hamas and Israeli conversation. We will definitely be tackling that. As a matter of fact, we're going to be doing that tomorrow. It's going to be mostly Mark Lamont Hill talking about his understanding of the Palestine Israel back and forth, right? This war that's going on, and if you're not very well versed in the history of Palestine, you are definitely in for probably quite a surprise, actually, because there's some nuance in there that I was completely shocked to find out when I went amongst doing my my little when I dipped my toes into it a little bit. You know what I mean? But so that's gonna be for tomorrow. Like I said, I would like to start streaming. If I can do it every day, that'd be nice. But I'm definitely gonna be, if nothing else, I'm gonna be a lot more busy on this channel. I'm gonna put a lot of my, like I said, thanks to my therapist. She helped me realize that having fun all the time is just not sustainable. It's not the way we should be living our lives. We should be busy. We should be doing things that's fulfilling. You know what I mean? We should be doing some capacity helping each other. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really plan on entertaining people with this YouTube channel. I think YouTube has enough entertainment as it stands already. I think YouTube has not enough people trying to share truth, right? And especially based on their own specific perspectives. And that's exactly what I'll be offering you here on the Hard Thinking YouTube channel. So if I can just find my mouse, I'll be catching y'all on the flip side, man. Thank you for the strength. Thank you, Tisha, for compliments. And Starfield never ends. It definitely doesn't, because I still have oh boy, I got 900 planets to discover. I just got the achievement of 100 planets landed on. That's the achievement I got today. I landed on the 100 planets. So now I have 900 more to go, apparently. What else? And then I also, Tisha, I scanned. I did one. What did I do? I scanned all the fauna, and I scanned all the flora of a whole planet, and I scanned all the resources. So 100% of the planet took me like an hour. I'm gonna try to never do that ever again, because that was entirely too boring. All right, I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side, man. Y'all see you tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about Hamas and Palestine versus the Israelis. Peace. Much love to you.
I'm the prize!